Welcome to episode 33 of Cougars on Cougars. This is Jess.
Game week.
I am Mary. It is, she can't even hold it in. It's
I
game
really
week.
can't. I'm like already getting that like super excited, nervous.
Excited?
What's
I
gonna
mostly
happen?
just get nervous. Usually I just get hit by like a wave of nausea at some point in the week. It hasn't come yet, but give me 24 hours.
I think I'm already there.
So yes, we finally have football. We have a really fun new segment that we're starting this week where we're going to talk to out-of-town Cougar fans about the cities where we're visiting. So we have Logan who's going to talk with us from Arizona. But before we get to that, we're of course going to start with our quote of the week, which is our off-season notable quotable series is over.
Yeah. Oh man. So this is from Arthur Ashe. One important key to success is self-confidence. An important key to self-confidence is preparation.
So we hope we're prepared, right? And it seems like we are. We've heard a lot of promising things from the coaching staff. The guys seem like they're ready to go. So
I think so.
We're really excited about this. So the way we're kind of going to format the show this week, we're going to get into Talk of the Town, and then we're going to break up Talk of the Town with our interview we did with Logan, where he's going to let you in on all of the things that you need to do and see and eat if you're going down to Arizona for the game, which we know most of you are.
We're jealous.
Yeah, so we'll start with the biggest news to come from the week is we've got our starting quarterback named, which makes sense as it is game week.
Well, we thought there was a chance that he wouldn't be named until right before the game, maybe.
To kind of throw him for a loop.
But no, we got Taysom Hill named as our starting quarterback. Of course, it happened right after our show came out. That seems to be the trend with Taysom.
Taysom tends to make announcements as we're uploading Cougs on Cougs. Most of Cougar Nation was very excited and had, you know, I don't think anyone was necessarily expecting anything different. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I
mean,
think there are a few that, you know, since Tanner was the guy last year, you keep running with him and all that. But it's Taysom Hill.
But at the end of the day, if you're not starting your veteran senior quarterback, then there's probably something seriously wrong with your veteran senior quarterback. So it's comforting to know that there's not anything wrong with him. And we did get a reaction from Tanner, and I wrote about his reaction, which has been everything you would expect it to be, just absolutely mature, and there are no hard feelings. He had several things to say. We'll link to the article I wrote, but one of our favorite things he said was that all either Taysom or I want is to win games, and he gives us a great chance to go out and win games. So he's on the same page as the rest of us. And I think it was Jess who tweeted out something and said, with Ty Detmer calling plays, Taysom as your starter, and Tanner as your backup.
Very comfortable with that.
Yes.
That's a really good group.
And then what did what did Taysom say about?
Oh, Taysom said, it's great to have a guy like Tanner. I felt only love and support from him through this whole thing.
So stop making up drama that doesn't exist, because it doesn't exist. Also, obviously, with Taysom being named the starter, the age jokes have been out and about because he is 26, which is older than some of the quarterbacks in the NFL, older than probably, 90% of quarterbacks in college. One of our favorite age jokes that we saw was from Robbie.
Taysom is the old dude with big guns. Taysom is Abinadi. Which makes you wonder, who's Alma then?
You know what? They're going to be making the age jokes about Taysom, so you might as well just embrace it and keep it coming. Saw someone, I think it was saying Kim, compare him to Methuselah, which I thought was very funny. But yeah.
You guys.
So along with our starters being named, we also had our captains named on Monday. This was very exciting. As people know, I like to know about captains a lot because leadership, I think, is really important. And, this is something that the guys choose, so it's important to them, and this is who they want leading them. So Jess, who do we got?
We have as offensive captains Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams, and defensive captains are Harvey Lange and Kai Nakua.
I think we can say that there are no surprises there.
I was a little surprised by Kai.
Kai was kind of someone that I wasn't expecting. It was someone that I knew the guys would probably want.
Yeah, that makes sense, but
he's been known to have some struggles in the past, and
I don't think he came up in our discussion last time we were talking about potential captains.
No, and I started a conversation on Twitter, and I didn't mention him, but someone else kind of brought him into it, so I don't think either of us really necessarily saw that coming, but definitely Taysom, Jamal, and Harvey, we did have a solid feeling. So, but I think Kai will be great, and you know what, if the guys chose him, then that's who they want.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. They're all very talented. They can lead on the field, and they can be vocal and all that, and they can lead off too. So I think it's a good mix of guys in a good group.
So now we'll get into that interview with Logan for those of you who are headed down south. We are joined by Cougar fan Logan Bitter. He is at LBitter on Twitter. Give him a follow if you're not already following him. And he is an Arizona resident. He lives in Gilbert, which is in the area of Glendale, Phoenix. Right, Logan? We'll let you take that one, I guess.
Yeah, it's a suburb. It's a suburb of Phoenix. So right there by Mesa. Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert is all pretty much one area these days.
So he is our inaugural guest for Along the Trail to Fame and Glory, which is our segment we're going to be doing before all the road games, chatting with a BYU fan who lives in the area because the world is our campus, as they say. And we've got a few questions for Logan. We know that about half the state of Utah and BYU fans from all over are heading to Arizona for this game. So we wanted to help them out, give them some tips on what to do, what to see, where to eat. So what are we going to get started with, Jess?
Let's start with things to do. So for fans that are traveling there, what are some things that they should do before or after the game?
Perfect. Well, I think that what Arizona's really got that, few other states have is just natural beauty. So, hiking is unparalleled. It's going to be hot. But if you go out early morning, late at night, there's South Mountain, which is right there in Phoenix.
Okay.
You can even drive to the top of that one and take a look over the valley as the sun sets. Fantastic. Or get up in the morning and hike up Camelback. It's supposed to be
kind of a tough hike though. Bring lots of water.
Yeah,
absolutely. Down there at all?
The high's only supposed to be 101, which is cool.
Only?
Yeah. Today it was 106, so it's a little cooler next weekend. But besides hiking, there is some indoor stuff. There is like the Arizona Science Center, which is really good with kids. But we also have, Fender Guitars is headquartered here in Scottsdale. I'm a huge guitar player, huge fan of guitars. And so in Scottsdale, there's also the Musical Instrument Museum, which is way cool. Have instruments from all around the world and also some, instruments from famous musicians. They used to have a Jimi Hendrix exhibit. I think that's moved on now, but just cool to go and see the history of music in the U.S. and stuff like that. So,
Totally.
Those are a few things that I recommend. If you want something a little more family friendly, there's also Jesters, which is an improv club. They often have guests from Studio C that will come down and work with them. So definitely, run by LDS, very clean humor, but also pretty funny.
Cool.
Very good.
Wow. Yeah, that should keep you busy over the weekend. And then, of course, the other thing we wanted to ask are some really good places to eat that people might not know about, maybe not have heard of.
Yeah. I'll group them Mexican, and then I'll have a couple non-Mexican options.
There we go.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So for Mexican, we've got Carolina's, which is right by the airport, is my favorite. Or there's stuff like Barrio Cafe, really highly rated in downtown Phoenix. Taco Guild is a new one. Just in the last couple of years, very fresh ingredients, good Mexican. Chino Bandito is a Mexican-Asian fusion. Fantastic food. So that's going to be like the Mexican choices. Okay. As far as non-Mexican goes, Saturday morning you get up, you want to have some breakfast or brunch. By the Biltmore, which is kind of like the Camelback area.
Okay.
There's this place called Snooze Eatery.
Ooh, I've heard of Snooze.
Breakfast and brunch. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it. So you could maybe go hike Camelback and then
absolutely.
grab some brunch there? Okay. Some Saturday morning plans for you.
Yeah, and also in the same area, so there's Pizzeria Bianco, which has been voted the top pizza in America a few times.
Wow.
And it's downtown, but they also have a place right there on 20th Street in Camelback. And that one has a much smaller line. Fantastic pizza. It's just really good food. We have great food in the valley. Sometimes a little too much great food, but it's fun. It's a good place.
And you guys do have a soda. Do you have a Sodalicious down there for our soda addicts that'll be trekking down there?
Two of them now. So there's one in Gilbert. They're popping up all over the place. So.
Well, there you go. Those of you who need your Diet Coke and Mountain Dew fix, it's all there. Sounds great. I'm really sad that this is making me even more sad that Jess and I are going to be there. Your husband's going to be there, though, right?
I know. I'm going to tell him to
We won't let him watch this. He doesn't get the tips because he's leaving you behind, right?
I guess. I want to ask, do you know, will there be people tailgating before the game? BYU fans?
There should be some tailgating. I know that the Alumni Association is doing a Cougar tailgate. So if you go onto their Facebook page, I think it's the BYU Arizona Alumni Association, and I can't remember what tickets were, $15, $20, something like that, for a barbecue and a nice tailgate.
Great. So you're going to the game. Are you going with a group of other fans and alum, or are you flying solo?
Yeah, I'll be going with a little group, and then I've got some family here in the Valley. They're all going, and I know probably 50 Cougar fans that are going down here. So they'll represent well. I do work with a lot of U of A grads.
Ooh.
My boss is a huge U of A booster, former football player for him, and so we have a rival, a bet going. But
more at stake for you than some other people.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess that leads us into the last thing we want to ask you. Are we going to get the win? And you want to maybe give us a little score prediction?
I think we are going to get the win. It's going to be a bit of a shootout. Their defense was pretty rough last year, and then on top of that, they've lost some of their best defenders. Our defense, I have no idea what it's going to look like.
Yeah, no one knows.
I trust Ty. So I think that'll be a kind of a shootout. I'm thinking 38-31.
Wow.
They're going to be able to put up some points, but I hope that we're able to match them. And I think that we come out with a victory 38-31.
I think that's a fair prediction. Logan, thank you so much for joining us. Those all sound like great options.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks to Logan for that interview. And if you are in Arizona and hit up any of those spots, send us pictures.
Tweet us.
Okay, we're going to go back to Taco Town now with a few more football things and some other things going on.
Yeah.
So first was that 7 Cougars were named to the Senior Bowl watch list.
Yeah.
So we've got Kai Nakua, Saeed Tatu, Harvey Lange, Taysom Hill, Jamal Williams, Travis Tuiloma, and Michael Davis.
I'm noticing a theme. All 4 of our captains were named to that watch list. So that's cool. Speaking of watch lists, your boy Taysom Hill has been named as one of 16 preseason candidates for the Heisman Trophy by USA Today Sports.
Right after he was named the starter, basically.
So we always throw around that he's Heisman caliber, so this is literally his last chance to prove it. So we'll see how that goes. But that's cool. That's cool to be to receive that honor. I love this.
This is from Reno Mahe on Instagram. First game week as a college coach, 2 a.m. and I can't sleep. Excited and can't wait for the game to start. Looking forward to a great year. And if you
relatable, #relatable, right?
I know he's excited as we are, as excited, I think. Now, the other thing that was funny, if you listen to the coordinator's corner yesterday, Ty Detmer talked about how they have a group text with all the coaches, which I'm sure that's amazing.
We'd kill to be a fly on the wall, yes.
But he said that Reno's the one that will text at like 4 a.m.
4 in the morning. So Ty Detmer, who's, in his 40s, thinks it's an emergency from his daughters. No, it's just Reno being a clown. So anyway, Reno, man of the people right there.
I think Jack Demooney is also as excited.
Yes, we heard that those two are the ringleaders of the joke circle.
Speaking of...
Yes, so this is a tweet from Jack Demooney, and it's from the freshman orientation that they did at LaVell Edwards Stadium, and Coach Satake was there, and he welcomed 4,500 plus freshmen, Jack said, and they all went crazy for their new head coach. So we've got this really great picture of Kalani, and they do look like they're ready to follow where he leads. So,
and what color are they wearing?
Royal blue.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. We've heard great things about the incoming freshmen. I know that we've heard some from of the kids on the rock board saying that they're kind of the special group that are showing up to all the sporting events and loud. So it's going to be a special season.
They already broke the women's volleyball attendance record over the weekend.
School started.
So good work.
Started Monday. So that didn't take long.
Okay, so from Laura Trineman, who we've had on our show, she tweeted a picture this week of Jonah repping the Y in high school, we think.
I think this is high school, yeah.
And now he gets to do it for real.
So cool. That was just a cool moment. Another cool thing we have coming down the pipe, and this is from Brian Logan. It looks like he's starting a podcast called the Royal Blue Podcast, and it's going to be done by the players. So, ours is for the fans, and theirs is going to be from the players, which is cool. We try to talk to a former player now and then, but it looks like it's going to all be streamlined, and you go to this website that we'll link to and just put in your email, and it looks like the content's going to kind of be fan-directed, and you let the former players know what you want to hear, and you'll hear it. So it sounds very inventive. I don't know if there's a precedent
he also said former players of opponents that we've played.
That's cool.
So that would be interesting. Yeah.
So sign up if you're interested.
I'm sure
it'll
be full of
very cool
hot takes from Brian Logan.
Gotta love Brian Logan. Okay, so I think that's it for football. This is another really funny thing we saw floating around. So, Peyton is one of our recently returned missionaries. That's going to be one of our bigs on the basketball team. Mm-hmm. And he is one of those freshmen who is exceptional in getting into all of the games and contributed to that volleyball record that we set. And this tweet is from Josh Gibbons. And he said that Peyton was choreographing the rock section. And here he is. He kind of looks like your ward choir leader that's out there. And
he's got the straw hat. Yeah,
I love it.
I was kind of surprised by that.
I wasn't.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about him.
Just from seeing his tweets and his Twitter feed, he's not your awkward RM. He's back in it. He's using the slang. He's out there leading the rock. So Peyton is one of my favorites already. Between the crumbling donuts tweet and this, I'm going to keep this kid around.
I agree. And I'm sure that the rock will repay the favor when we're in basketball season.
Yes, right? Yes. Always good to spread that around. Okay, this is a good one for you.
That's right. Eric Mika had the best birthday ever this last week. So here's a picture of him with some of his buddies, including Nick Emery and TJ Haws. And also shout out to Eric because he's getting married this weekend.
I think he has something going on Friday. The last thing we'll end with for Talk of the Town is that our friend Tyler Haws has finally signed with a team, and it is in Poland.
They have basketball there. That's the thing.
I said the only thing I know about Poland is Coach K, which is, hey, if they produced him, they can't be that
and Polish dogs.
Bad at basketball and Polish dogs. So we would pronounce the team that he signed with, but I'm not even going to go there.
Nope, not even going to try.
Sorry. Oh, I lied. That wasn't the last thing. Here's a bonus.
So it's football season, which means that Boney Fuller is back in full swing.
Yes.
And one of my favorite things he does is he takes players from our opponent that week and tweets out things that they look like.
It's so mean and so hilarious.
It's so great. So,
it's good-natured. It's all very good-natured, and a lot of the players think it's very funny that he tags.
Yeah, the players on the other team.
Right.
Some of them don't have a good sense of humor, but a lot of them do.
Most of them do.
This one, Arizona Wildcats that look like cacti. This is Lorenzo Burns.
Go check his Twitter feed for a good laugh. But there's what we've got for Talk of the Town. As for what is next, it's the start of the Kalani Sitake era, obviously, and that includes the Sitake show. So it is no longer the Bronco show, R.I.P. It is the Sitake show, and there are no more seats for that. It filled up very, very quickly from what we heard. But that's over at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and you can listen on KSL News Radio. It's today. It's today from 7 to 8.
And Taysom Hill is your player guest.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yes.
Dang it.
Why do you think tickets went so fast?
I didn't get tickets. Well, we'll be listening.
Women's soccer versus Tennessee at home Friday. They took down the defending national champions over the weekend.
They did. So after the home loss to Nebraska, they went on the road and kicked some butt. Yep. Cross Country is hosting the Autumn Classic because it's almost autumn. What the heck? Saturday morning, and that starts just before 10 a.m., and that is at the Clarence Robinson Track and Field. So head over to check out some running the morning of game day.
Women's volleyball is on the road all weekend in another tournament. They won the BYU Invitational over the weekend. So now they're playing in Ohio. So they've got Wyoming on Friday, LIU Brooklyn on Saturday, again on Saturday against Ohio State.
Yeah. So good luck to them in that tournament.
Big games,
and finally, we're not sure if you guys know this is happening or not, but BYU's playing Arizona in football.
Yeah, it kind of snuck up on us.
And there is a little bit of confusion about the game time. Let's help you clear that up.
I know you were having some problems with that this week.
Arizona does not observe daylight savings time.
Because they're sane, rational people.
Sure, that's fine. But for us, the game is at 8:30. At the time it is 8:30 in Utah is when you want to turn on your television.
Fox Sports.
So Fox Sports 1. And what is it? So it's at 8:30 Mountain Daylight Time, but 7:30. No, get 7:30 out of your head. It's at 8:30 in Utah. Anywhere else you are, you can figure it out.
7:30.
Okay, so yeah, and that is on Fox Sports 1. Yes, and do wear white if you are going, which a large contingent
I will have my lucky Cougar hat on.
And I guess we should have said this before, but it's the last week of BYU 50. Where can they fetch boxes this week?
Today in Washington, Wednesday West Virginia, Thursday Wisconsin, Friday Wyoming, and Saturday all over Arizona.
Starting at the beginning of the alphabet.
I imagine there'll be some fierce competition for those Arizona
good
boxes.
luck. I imagine they'll run the same sort of competitions they did in Utah because they will be showing up in hordes.
Sponsors this week are the Walk-Ons. Hopefully they killed it at tryouts yesterday.
Yes, and our second sponsor is the guys who repped the Y in Australia at the Cal vs. Hawaii game. That is some serious commitment.
Good work.
May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. For Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.